weird bumps on my chest. Hey, everybody. 4 o'clock live. Welcome. All right, who's going to be on first? And can we have a sound check, please? What is happening?
I'm here.
Mary's here. She's behind my big, fat, scarred head, which are healing up beautifully, if I do say so. This one you're not even going to see.
So exciting news. While we're waiting for people, Ben is going to be getting his new swim spa next week. So within the next few weeks, maybe we'll do a Facebook Live at his house.
Yes. Yes. I need this 2025 stuff in my life.
He will be getting a trainer,
Yep.
15D, so that will be a nice adjustment compared to the Challenger, which we're always in here.
Matt. Kayla, is that you? Are you on babysitting duty today?
Hi, Kayla.
Hi, Kayla. Melissa, how are you? Everybody who's watching, can we get a sound check and let us know where you're watching from, please? Today is all install stuff. And
We'll
we're
do a nice startup one.
When can the website be updated with the new swimmers? I'm having a hard time showing customers. This is probably not the place for that.
We know that they're doing it as quickly as they possibly
but
can.
they're rolling them out.
Yeah.
I
know the 21 is on there now.
21's on there now. 15's on there now. What are we allowed to say about the 19?
It's definitely coming soon, but the feature sheet is not complete yet.
Yes. Ryan, Kayla, reporting for babysitter duty. Awesome, I love it. Awesome. So the 19 officially hammering, starting, all that stuff in production. It's so epic. So epic. I'm not even going to comment anymore on that. It's right there. It's coming. It's amazing. All right. Yeah. So just
it will be in homes this summer. How's that?
Yeah, for sure. The 19 Max.
Yeah.
So I will say this. And I've said this before. You guys know this. Every year, annually, Master Spas updates some. Everyone wants the 19. So there is a. Tatiana, do you have the picture that's floating around? There's a picture. There's a picture of the 19 Max that exists. So if you have access to get a message to us on Facebook, hit me personally. I can help you out with that.
Honestly, it doesn't look very much different than the 15.
But you can tell the length.
Is longer
if
in
you
the
put the
middle.
two pictures together, you can see the length difference on the wall sweep. It's amazing. But it's basically. It is a 15 stretched, and the walls are thin on the end. There's no wasted space, so it's amazing. So okay, we'll jump in. It looks like it's going to be a 19. We're going to talk about the 19. All right. So anyway, let me finish this. Every year we update about 6 or 7 molds, and that means new acrylic mold, all new parts, new configuration, new jets. It's basically like when they change a model year on a car. There's a lot to it. It's like designing a new car, but you had a starting point. You weren't starting from scratch. So it's easier than starting from scratch sometimes, but for the most part, it's easier than starting from scratch. And this year we did 26, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. I will say that it was one of those things where anyone here who's ever done a home project, if you're doing an addition or you're doing the roof and it's like, well, while we're at it, it makes sense to do this now. It will cost less in the long run to do it along the way rather than separately. It was that, but it was 26 times. So like if you're going to do the cabinet, on the Twilight, it's the same cabinet as the LSX, so you have to do that and all this stuff. So, and then if you're going to do the LSX, you have to do the ABS pan. And it just steamrolled into all this stuff. Well, while we're at it, let's do this. And it ended up being the craziest year ever. Absolutely ever. So, and it is epic. So let's see what we got. That's the one he wants, haha, 19. Will access cover be available with 19? So think about this, Tatiana. The 19 Max is the exact same size as the Trainer 19 of previous. So all the same stuff available and the same. So super easy cover situation with the 19 Max. Okay, it's the same as a 19 dual temp. Let's see. Trish, what is the difference between the 19 last year and this year? Because I had one on hold. Okay, Trish, a lot. Last year's 19 was a dual temp, so you had a hot tub and a separate swim spa. This year, the 19 Max is just one big body of water. There's no separation. So if you had a Trainer 19, a Challenger 19, or a Momentum on hold, you need to change to the 21 footer, and it is outrageous.
Yeah, the 21 foot is the best
oh my
update
God.
to the dual temp
ever
so
in
amazing.
History of swim spas. It's freaking outrageous.
So now to have two separate temperatures, it's 21 feet long.
21 feet now. Now, Trish, if you are on the other end of this broadcast saying, SOB, I wasn't allowing for 21 feet, I only had 19 feet, the pad, the slab, whatever you have to do to accommodate the 21, totally worth it.
But it may be, if you,
and they may have,
and
they may have it for you, so you definitely check with them. Good point, Mary.
On hold, like, because I know we had some customers that...
we had some 19s hanging around.
And they brought them
ready.
in when they needed to, knowing that customers weren't quite ready, but they were going to hold them
so
in their
you
warehouse,
may be getting what you ordered. You need to check with them
with your dealer.
for sure, with your dealer.
Yeah.
No, Mary, good thought. No, she's right, absolutely. But if the difference between the 19 is all I'm talking about is vast. So, but they may have that for you, or they switch to a 21, or I don't know. So check with your dealer. And I will say this: if it was the dual temp you were wanting, go with the 21. It's awesome. Oh my God, it's outrageous. The hot tub is so freaking perfect. So they crushed that. All right. I used your video to show it off, but I will send a message too. Awesome. Awesome. Very good. All right, going down. It was a Trainer 19, Trish. They may have it, so check with your dealer for sure. Because a new Trainer 19 is now the Trainer 19 Max. It's the same length, same covers, but nothing else is the same. It's very different. It's amazing if you want a single body. It's the largest single body of water we've ever made. It's huge and freaking awesome. All right, New Hampshire, Jim, how are you? Scrolling through. B. Rebecca, I'm looking for a cover for the Trainer 19. Should be easy. You can get it at different websites, your dealer. There's different kinds, different sizes. You've got roll cover, access roll cover. You've got the regular, rigid cover like is behind us here. So that's what I'm putting in my house. Lots of options. Should be easy to get. So yeah, contact your dealer. And I think you could even get them online now.
Yeah.
So, Mama! B. Rebecca, my dealer is out of business.
Just contact Master Spa's customer support, and they can help you out.
Yeah, they'll forward you to a new dealer who'll take care of that. What Master Spa dealer went out of business? That's where do you live? B. Rebecca? Hey, is there such a thing as a gas hot tub? No. Like propane gas, not gasoline, I'm assuming. Propane gas, there used to be propane fired heaters. I know for a lot of time, we always kind of fought those older sticklers who believed that electricity was the most expensive way to heat anything, and in some cases it was, but our insulation is so ridiculously awesome. Snow does not melt off the top of these, that if you do a propane fired tub, or you adapted one to it, you're probably less efficient, and it's not ready to go. So there are other problems come with it. And also you have a metal heater that's not inside the swim spa, so in the wintertime that's gonna freeze, okay, so if you're in a cold climate. So I don't recommend that. It used to come up for discussion a lot, and it really doesn't. In fact, I think when I first started, there was actually a port in the plumbing for gas, for the heat. So, okay, let's back up. Brian, Arizona. Hi from New Jersey. My wife and I have on order Therapol 15. Tell me about delivery. Very excited. Jamie, super easy. I mean, in New Jersey, it's going to be East Coast Spas. They've done 40,000 installs of swim spas, literally like 5 a week forever. Amazing. They know what they're doing. I can't really comment on your delivery specifically because I have never seen it, but typically if they're going to get a small truck and trailer around the back, they're going to go right to it. They're going to tilt bed, come right onto your pad. If there's a crane involved, they're so good with that. They'll work with the crane company. Super easy. But in my opinion, you have swim spa installed first, then electric, then water.
Yeah.
Don't do the water before. I know there's going to be 4 people that comment on here, I did the water when it was on the way, and the electrician, blah, 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 and everything was fine. It's fine until it's not, okay? Because what you haven't had experience with was anyone else's swim spa. And we're not commenting on one install, we're commenting on a million.
Yeah.
So, if you have a problem, the electrician gets a flat tire on the way that day, or he runs 3 feet short of wire because he misjudged it, or whatever. You have a bad breaker switch, or anything could happen. Just this is life, and life is usually bumpy. If any of that stuff happens, you're going to have water sitting in there, and if it takes a few days to get to it, your stagnant water is going to get yucky. Yeah. There are tricks if that happens, but don't even play with it. So I don't fill mine until the electrician says, I'm done, fill it. Okay? But
That's
very,
a good,
very easy.
Segue, because although we've got lots of questions coming on in real time, the topic of today is supposed to be installs.
Yep.
Install questions, tips.
Always lots of install questions.
Yeah.
Lots of chemicals, lots of install
Yeah.
questions.
So we will continue to answer these, but
Absolutely.
that is technically the topic.
It is, absolutely. Lynn, what is the best model for cold weather, 3 to 4 people, best maintenance? So Lynn, it depends on your...
Or are you talking about a hot tub?
Talking
or a
about,
swim spa?
I'm assuming talking about a hot tub.
Okay.
I would say, and it's fun. I want to answer that because we never get to talk about hot tubs. It's always swim spa action, which is amazing, and everyone goes bananas for. But you know what? I love hot tubs too. So let's talk about it. 3 to 4 people. 4 is like a weird number in hot tubs. You're either getting a small tub cramming 4 people or a big tub where 4 people living like kings. It's an interesting thing. So I would make sure that you decide whether or not you want to be comfortable touching feet with 3 to 4 people, or if you want your own space. Because if you want your own space, 4 people is a 7x7 hot tub.
Yeah.
Okay, and even still, like a Twilight 7.2, I like that for 3 people. 4 people, I feel like it's getting awfully snug in there.
Yeah.
And it's just the sweep of the wall. So like a Balance 7, you'll fit 4 people in like kings.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the situation. You gotta
And
go look at it.
all of Master Spa's hot tubs are made for
Absolutely.
winter. They're
Yep.
fully
Yep.
insulated. The cover is a snow load cover.
Yep, 100%.
Our double wall cabinets. So there's lots of things that Master Spa's has done to make
Truth.
it super efficient to be used year round. So
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with any
Yeah.
of the models.
But like if you're looking for something smaller and like lots of therapy, in the 4-person you have a Twilight 6725. It's a 4-seater, little hot rod. The jets are outrageous. Solid tub. If you're looking for something more on the basic side, you can go with like an Ocho Rios, either an SE or a CS, which is going to be a 110 plug-in, or wired in 240. The CS is actually convertible. Both same size as the 6725, or really close, and just a solid tub. It's not going to have the jet therapy the Twilight is going to have. The Twilights are fairly nutty. So you have lots to choose from, Lynn. But I would suggest going to a dealership, go hit a show that you know is a dealer doing, and they'll have all that stuff to see. So, but 3 to 4 people, I'm thinking Twilight 6725 or Ocho Rios. Ryan Stearns, what's up, dude? Jill, what temp do people typically like to keep their swim spas set to for wintertime swimming? I know around 84-ish is probably, let me hit the see more button. My fat finger's not working. Come on, work with me. Oh, got it. 84-ish is probably ideal in winter months, but curious if people bump them up in hot or winter or not. A lot of people do. Bump them up. We've got people that don't bump them up and they'll use a wetsuit, like a triathlete will use a wetsuit. A lot of times it's not a wetsuit for scuba diving, it's actually for swimming. So you have that option that'll keep you a little bit warmer if it's really cold. You can change the temperature up, and I would just play with it. Get in it, set it at 85. And then, see, hey, geez, I wish it was a little warmer. And the next morning it'll be warmer.
Yeah.
So just play with it until you perfect it. Everybody's a little different. But I think a lot of people typically turn it up a couple of degrees in the winter because you can. So why not? Let's see. Brian, my sides in my Challenger has been replaced 3 times in the last 2 years. It keeps warping. It's so interesting. Hang on, let me get to see more. Heard talk about any new siding. Any thoughts? It's interesting, Brian. We only see that, as far as I know, we only see that in hot. I mean, are you in the hot climate? Is it really warm there? Because that's like a hot thing. We don't have that. Like, I don't know of one in Connecticut that did that.
Yeah.
So it's not spread. It's not widespread. It's selective, and as far as I know, in hot climates. And really, it's just expansion contraction of that stuff in those crazy heats, crazy temperatures. It does that. And I think the fix for it was just a little bit wider cabinet that maintained that edge before it warped and came out of there. But you know, lots of things can be done to shore that up, I would think. I haven't heard about anything that's changing on that. It's not that big of a problem. It's a bad problem, but it's very selective, and it's usually in like very specific places. It's not widespread. As far as thoughts, if it were something that I was going to try to fix myself, I guess I would take the cabinet off and I would add, because you can add some, 2x4s, like backing, like you would if you're framing a house, you want to mount a TV on the wall. So I have this backing where I have one spot in my house where we have it's a very large TV on there, and I put enough backing in there I could hang a car off it. So it doesn't matter what I ever do, that backing is back there, and I took pictures of it when the wall was open. So I mean, you could add 2x4s across so that you have more screw-in points, and then to prevent that. And I would do something like that myself if it was a continued problem, or talk to your dealer, see if they'll help you with something like that. But that's an idea that more fixed points to fix to on the backside fixes the problem. That's just off the top of my head. I have not dealt with that, as we live in cold ass Connecticut. Ireland, Mitchell, Ireland. Oh man, that's a first.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sure.
It's great to hear from you from Ireland. Just got my concrete pad poured, and I'm reading this with an Irish accent, so you know. I don't know if you were born there or not, but right now you have an Irish accent in my mind, and I love it. Thank you. Let's see. Pad poured for my outdoor tub. Wonder if there's any need to put another material between the tub and the pad, like a fabric or foam. Nah, I don't ever, never. You don't need it. I know they sell a little thermal blanket. Heat loss goes up, just like a house. You're not losing anything down. I know the cold ground can radiate in it. There's plenty of space in there, and it's warm. It's not going to make any difference. It's just going to be like one more pain in the ass thing you need to do now. Unnecessary. That's my opinion. Do you have a partially buried option, Mark? So what I think you mean is, do we, a company called Title Fit does like a rubber membrane, and then they mount the pumps a little higher so that you can bury it directly in the ground. We do not do that. We do not feel it's a good idea. I would also keep in mind that the powers that be from Master, who are the largest manufacturer in the world, don't think it's a good idea.
You can countersink it.
Yes, but just not that way.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that.
That was actually a question that we're going to address
how to do
in a bit. Yeah,
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 for sure. So we don't make that. Don't think it's a great idea. And as far as how many that company has made in real life is actually quite few. So we don't know about the track record on that. I'd be cautious. Okay, I'd rather see you do like a real vault and vault it properly so that you are guaranteed no problems. Because I know if it were me, in my world, if I do something like that, it's absolutely going to go south, be a problem, and the unexpected will absolutely occur to me. My whole life is like that. I don't have bad luck. I have what's called difficult luck. I will get to every place I set out to go, but it's always a bumpy ride. Ask Mary. Yeah. It's just true. I don't know why. Jamie thinks you're welcome. Hot tub, Lynn, absolutely. All right. Jill, can you describe the order in which everything needs to happen for install, electrician, concrete pad, delivery, etc.?
Great question.
Great question. Super, I love it. It's perfect. Super easy to the point.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a great,
it's great for everyone. And it's like broad brushstrokes. It's very simple. First thing is site preparation, so cement pad. And then from there, tub, and then electric, and then water, switch on, wait till temperature, stir, enjoy. Very simple. Very simple. It's supposed to be that easy. I realize that some people do crazy installs and they make them crazy. They don't have to be that crazy, but Simply put, pad, swim spa or hot tub, electric, water, fire. Not literally, fire it up. All right. Going through. Kenny, I reinforced to add a beverage shelf. See, Kenny, you're an enlightened cat, and that's what I dig about you. Always thinking like that. Kenny has had multiple good ideas on our Facebook Lives, and we appreciate it. All right. Kenny, you know the most famous good idea came out of Hawaii in Kona with the dumbbell on the bottom, because we were like, what the heck are we going to do in the middle of this live? We have nothing to see on the bottom. And Kenny comes out, Kenny said, you got a dumbbell hanging around? And sure enough, he did, which is a freakish. He had actual weighted dumbbell in the dealership in Kona on an island in the middle of the Pacific. Awesome. Kenny, that was your greatest day, at least the one that I'm aware of. All right, and the beverage shelf, yes. All right, Constance, hello, Mom. My mother getting a new UV box, getting some maintenance on her swim spa next week. Summer, my daughter, is there a lightweight cover we can use for a climate-controlled room, indoor and in-ground? Sarah, all right, so indoors, you may want to go with the Access roll cover. It's going to be lighter. And it's going to roll. You also have years ago, and this does work, we have verified this many times, it's not attractive though. It's awfully, in fact, I'm going to go and say it's ugly as hell. If you get like a heavy, I want to say 5 mil, 3 mil, 5 mil plastic tarp from Home Depot that's larger than the swim spa, and turn your fountains off. Turn your fountains off. I'll share the rest of the story after I say it 2 more times. Turn the fountains off. If you're using a plastic tarp, turn the fountains off. We learned the hard way. We'll get back to that. But if you drape that plastic over, it actually causes a seal to take place, and there's no moisture in the room. It actually provides enough barrier. It works. We did that in did we ever do live from that location?
No, I don't think so.
It was like a mini satellite showroom thing. I think it was just before we started filming the lives.
It was significantly before.
Yeah.
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 Because we started in like 2020.
Yeah. I had the black car.
Right.
Yeah, that was because I had pictures of that. So it does work, and we did that because it was just nice inside there to just pull it off. But if you leave the fountains on, it will actually wick up the shell and down.
And it looks like you have a leak. It
filled that building with water over a 2 or 3 period day when we weren't there. I mean, filled. We thought there was a leak, an insane leak. But it was, obviously it's a tarp and it's ugly. Maybe a black one wouldn't be so bad because the cover's black, but ours was like clear, ugly.
But the Access doesn't look, it looks nice and it's easy if you have an indoor install.
All right. Grand Valley, Ontario. Awesome. Brand new Trainer 15D. Loving it.
Awesome.
Justin, mine is coming next week. For the bend method, if I use the spa twice a day, do I tablespoon-ish on each use or once? I'd probably go once.
Yeah, end of the day.
I'd probably go once end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to get that crazy. And really, if like the bend method, the Angie method, both work. But if you read the Master Spa's manual, it's sort of in between. And maybe I'm going to dare say more like mine, although I get harassed a lot for it, even by our executive team, which is crazy. I think they have something to pick on me for, and they're going to do it and exercise that right, and we all love it. So, but I think I would do it once and make sure. And really, for me, I just need a larger margin of error. I love the non-chlorine shock. Our travel is so insane that I don't have time. I need a larger period of time before the water's gonna flip and get cloudy on me, and my method works better for me, okay? I will say this, I need to be, and I have been good about the pH and making sure, because as soon as that chlorine goes all the way down, if it does, your pH goes next, and then your water turns to crap. And obviously some of that is geographical, but our pH was always low if we were too busy and not keeping up on it, and that's what happened. Our pH dropped. So as long as you're getting in there enough with the chlorine, it's not going to happen. I don't ever worry about the CYA. I don't care. I don't care. Some places the water comes out of the tap with CYA, and nothing you can do about it. All right.
I mean, most of your hot tub strips don't even test for that.
Right. Okay. Jill, so I don't have an electrician come out to bury the line first. You can if you want to. I don't do that because they don't know exactly where they're going. So, but there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So
and a lot of times we just recommend, like, especially if you're paying for an electrician, he's going to have to come and wire it once the hot tub is there.
Yeah, they have to come
and
back.
They're going to charge you again to do that. So if it's there and he does everything at once, you're only paying him once as well.
Yep.
So
she's right. Not her first day. But yeah, so I didn't do that. Most people don't do that, but you absolutely can do that. It's not wrong. Okay, Jill? All right, Gary. So Gary here. My wife set me up with this discussion for info on clearance for cover install. Let's get the info for 15-footer. Info for clearance for cover install. Cement pad info for Gary here. My wife set this. Okay, hang on. I am tired and I'm in a calorie deficit, so bear with me. My wife set me up with this discussion for info on clearance for cover install, cement pad info for 15-footer. Is that two questions? I think it's
so
two
15
questions.
foot, you need a 15 by 8 pad at
Yep.
least. If you wanted it any bigger, it's up to you guys. And it needs to be 6 inches thick, reinforced.
Yep.
On a 15 foot, you're fine reinforcing with mesh. And then we just need a little understanding of
Which cover
which
lifters.
Clearance behind, or when it's.
I'm sort of assuming the question we always get is length, right? Is how far the cover lifters stick out beyond the ends of the swim spa.
Right.
I'm sort of thinking that's what you're asking, so I'll take a guess at that. We need to know which cover lifters. They're all a little different, but figure 2 feet.
Right. If you give
Is
yourself 2
safe.
feet,
No
you're safe,
matter
yeah.
which cover lifter, 2 feet is good. Some are going to be a little thinner, some will be a little wider. If you're using the new 360s, which drop it all the way down from Master Spas, I think that's a little more. But you can't have a deck around it. It's got to be on a pad install. Right. So I was going to put those on mine, but because of my deck is around mine, I can't do that. And they're really lovely. Okay, really nice, really nice. They came out great. So I think we got you there, Gary. Comment again if we missed your question. All right. All right. Sarah, I'm not sure I can do ugly. Sarah, I love where your head's at, and I can tell you this: if I had a beautiful manicured room, I would not put the plastic tarp on there. I cannot do it. Okay, not happening. So I'm totally with you. Go access. And I guess there could be some aftermarket, more of a cover that exists. I'm just not familiar with it.
Is the end-to-end thinner like the sport one?
Maybe, I don't know. Check the sport from end to end. That could work. They have a good reputation, fair reputation. All right. With the Legends come with the dial topside with new orders.
No.
Nope. Tatiana, no, they will not. At least not yet. And I'm not saying that because I know it's going to change next year. I don't know that. So as of right now, it's not changing. Lorraine, we use the blue bubble wrap for pools over our indoor swim spa. Works great. Absolutely. 12 mil, I believe it is. That's thick. If it hangs over the side a bit to seal the heat in, yeah, filters run with 0 problems. Absolutely. It works great. So turn those fountains off. We learned that the hard way. Thanks. Follow up on the bend method. Traveling for a week, what do I do? So what I would do on a week travel is, honestly, I'd probably do I'm gonna nearly blasphemy here. I'd probably get rid of EcoPure because it does strip away extra chlorine. I would clean the filters and then hit it hard. Bring it up to like 8 parts per million, and then ride the week. You'll be fine. And come back, test it, make sure your pH, alkalinity are good. Rock and roll. If you want to hit it with a little bit of shock, go ahead. So weak is not a problem. That's why I love the bend method. Lance Siders, do you have a photo on link? It's not to me. You said mesh reinforcement is fine for swim spa. Absolutely, I use mesh on mine. Unless
you're doing a 19 or 21 foot. If you're doing the larger swim spas, then we would recommend rebar.
Yeah. If you're doing something that's crazy heavy,
yeah,
do the rebar. I did mesh on mine. It's 15-footer, freaking perfect. Never buckled, never moved. And I live in Connecticut, so you know, with big temperature swing, lots of frost heave, nothing. Consider an umbrella landing. Yes. Good, we're caught up. Okay. Wow, that was good. That's great.
I'm gonna grab my phone because we
Get your
did
phone.
have a couple of questions that came in ahead of time, specifically about a vault install. So
Grab your-
we'll.
This is hot. The water's hot. I'm
It's
sweating. All right. I'm going to sit down now
Okay.
in the seat that my new swim spa is going to have.
Okay. So first question is, it's a kind of a long one, so I'm gonna paraphrase. Sorry. Here we go.
This
Okay.
is so friggin' awesome.
I'm getting ready to finalize my concrete work for my installation of my trainer. The swim spa is going to be about 3 feet from the bottom edge of a 14-foot high retaining wall on ground that was backfilled 16 years ago when the home was being constructed. Because of the location, a pumper truck will be required to deliver pour the concrete. What are the specifics? Okay, so Dan in Georgia, just like we just said, 6 inches thick on that concrete pad, reinforced with rebar on that size swim spa, 18 feet. We want it to be completely flat, no pitch, and just regular concrete reinforced with rebar, 6 inches. And hopefully that answers your question. For a swim, this is from Barb in Georgia. For a swim spa installed into the ground, what is the best way to build a deck around the spa to allow access for maintenance? Oh yes, Lauren, I didn't realize that, but it does. My phone case matches my bathing suit.
Oh my god.
Thank you for noticing. Okay, so
I wonder if any dudes noticed that.
I didn't even notice it. So, okay, so for decking around the swim spa, we recommend about 2 feet below the top of the swim spa, which makes it for a good height for getting in and out so that you can sit on the edge and swing your legs in to get in and out. And then on the 2 short ends, you just want to have like a trap door or some way to get to those ends for service or access. Hopefully that answered your
was that
question.
a question specifically about the framing that goes underneath?
I just threw that in the trash.
And there was a bunch of questions
Yeah, I
that
know.
just came in. So if it was, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It just says around the spa
Right.
to allow
So-
access for maintenance.
So if you're doing the framing, so you have a vault that is 2 or 3 feet larger than the swim spa, then underneath you're going to make a frame system so that you can attach the decking to it, and then underneath in the crawl space there's access. Just leave the trap door that Mary referred to, but underneath you're going to use like 4x4s, maybe an inch away from the swim spa so that you can maneuver cabinets off underneath there, and then you know, come up and then with a framing system, and don't go too close to it because you don't want it to actually touch the deck. It can vibrate. So you want the swim spa on the pad, but not touching the deck. It can vibrate and be annoying, and it sounds like you can hear it, but you're actually feeling it. It's not a noise, it's a vibration. It's happened many, many times where we just had the customers come take the boards off and router them a little bit larger, and the problem went away. So it's actually quite common.
So Gary, a couple more questions. Jill, all of the info on the bend method, if you look back on previous Facebook lives and the YouTube, you can find like a maintenance one.
But I mean,
But
it's
basically,
2 seconds.
yeah.
It's a little bit of chlorine after each use.
Yep.
And then shock once a week if you're behaving, 2 weeks if you're me. I should shock more. I'm not saying I'm perfect, I'm not. But I use a little bit of chlorine after each use.
Yeah.
And the water is always perfect. It's just easier for me to deal with that way.
Gary, any advantage to making the bigger 6 inches extra? No, 6 inches is good. Crane tips, contact your dealer so that they can coordinate the crane. Most likely your dealer has done hundreds of crane
You know what?
installs.
I have a tip.
Yep.
I would use a crane company that your dealer is familiar with.
Right, yeah.
Because they'll know how to grab it with the spreader bars. You don't want them to hurt your swim spot. And make sure that your dealer's there. If it's if you have your cousin Goober has a crane company, make sure that the dealership has a install person there who's familiar with cranes, so they can make sure it does a good job.
Also, we just had a question ahead of time from Daryl about if you should need a crane. The crane will coordinate with your dealer so that it can be delivered the same day. Your swim spot isn't going to sit in your driveway waiting for a crane. They coordinate, so the delivery team is there to work with the crane company. Tatiana, with the covers, they will need to be replaced, but on an inside install, they're going to last a lot longer. So that's really hard to say. You shouldn't really get much foam deterioration on the access cover. Eventually, it might just get heavy from water from the swim spa, like raising up into it, but it should last a long time in your inside. Justin, those seats are awesome, but I catch my arms when swimming on them. So if you're swimming in the right spot, you actually want to be like behind the current, not up. If you're hitting those steps, you're swimming too far up. So like in the Challenger, you want to be like, in the new Challenger, like below the lines on that first padding.
You should not be able to reach them.
Yeah, you should not be able to reach those seats.
Unless you're 7'4".
Right.
And a 15-footer.
Gary, advantage of heat pump. If you are in a very hot climate, it will help keep the water cooler. Not all locations have the heat pump available.
On the heat pump, even if you lived here, like Connecticut is very expensive, so the heat pump, when it's fully unleashed, it will toggle between the standard heater and the heat pump. So during the harsh winter, you're going to be using the electric heater, so it's not going to save you any money. But in that middle time, where you're using some heat, it's going to actually do a great job, and you'll save some money then. Just remember, in the cold, the heat pump is going to shut off, and it's going to use a traditional heater anyway. So just be mindful. It may not be the most insane, savings like in a home or something like that, because the regular heater is going to fire in the coldest, and that's when it's most expensive.
Jim, if you're sinking it in the ground and you have a vault installed, then you need 3 feet all the way around. If it's above ground and you're putting a deck around it, then the 2 short ends are enough access, because technically they could shift it on a concrete pad above ground. They can't do that if it's below the ground. Can you talk about building a deck on one side? 2 feet below the top of the shell. So if it's along one side, have it be the full length of your swim spa, 2 feet below the top of the shell. Which is, if you have a 5 feet, then 3 feet above the ground.
Yep. It's perfect chair height for sitting your tush on the edge and spinning in and out.
Okay, a couple other questions here. I know I need an electrician. This is from Kitty in Virginia, but do I also need a plumber? No, you fill it with a hose. These are portable. Do I need any other professionals? Just your delivery crew will place it, and then the electrician will wire it. You fill it with a hose. If your county requires a permit, you as the homeowner are required to get that.
Are you ripping through these last questions?
Yeah, because it's time.
We strive to keep these about 40 minutes.
Yeah,
which is
I know.
Still long.
It is
and
long.
People actually watch them, which is crazy.
Kitty, if you go back to Master Spa's YouTube channel, there are tons of videos on maintenance, on chemicals, on how to rinse your filters, everything. And you can order all of your supplies from, I would recommend from your dealer, because those are going to be the best, most recommended chemicals. Sometimes Amazon or like big back store stuff isn't the best quality. Okay, Don.
Actually, hang on.
Yep.
We actually think my mother has a bad batch of
Yeah.
chlorine, and it was from Amazon.
Oh, well,
It's not working, and we were thinking that. 'Cause
Okay,
they know it's
that
2
could
years.
definitely
They
have been
know
that, right?
Yeah.
Don from Maryland, we would like to partially bury a 15-foot trainer about 3 feet The area we have for this is only 14 feet by 20 feet. Can we make the vault 12 by 19? This would allow 2 feet wide access on all sides of the spa.
Yep. Just make sure your service tech is skinny.
Right. You make sure the service tech is spinny, and really, if you could get 3 feet behind where your pumps are, depending on which swim spa you have, either in the front if it's a newer one, I'm assuming it's a newer Trainer 15, so behind the jets, the swim spa jets, you want to have the most amount of access if you can. And I think that's it. Okay, so that was a little rush through those last questions, but we got a lot of questions on here, so that's awesome.
Carrie's watching, and she's texting.
Did you see what she said?
No.
Something about you look like me with no legs or something. We are going to be back in 2 weeks. I'm really hungry and I don't know what the date is. Sometime
we're both dieting down. We're both dieting down. Our travel is actually slowed a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're actually able to eat correctly and
oh,
get lean.
actually, we might not actually be here in 2 weeks. So it may need to be 3 weeks. We're going to be in New York City for an event in 2 weeks Wednesday. So we will post a blurb when we are going to be on, but it may be 3 weeks just so everybody knows. We will see everybody then. We hope everyone has a great night. And if you have any other questions, we will get to them. If you post them later after the live, we'll get to them later. Thanks, guys.